Over Malvern Hill is an A4 spiral-bound softback rulebook printed on 71 pages of durable high-quality paper. It is an adaptation of Stand 2 Games Over the Hill's Napoleonic rules, this time for combat between the various forces employed during the later American Civil War. The rules use 10-sided dice, although there are options for using 2 6-sided dice if you prefer. The rules cover a great deal of ground, as shown by the contents page. Designed with a particular basing methodology in mind, the rules may nonetheless be adapted to reflect whatever players already have, even with regard to men to figure ratios. The rules are designed with the idea of using 28mm miniatures, but do contain a way to convert them to other figure scales. The core of the rules is the same as the Napoleonic set, to wit the use of fatigue as the main record of fighting ability and the willingness to carry on. Units with higher scores will last longer in battle than those with a lower score, and fatigue is lost as a result of movement, actions and the casualties suffered. The commander of each division, brigade and overall is also a deciding factor. Each commander has a command range, within which he may issue orders or exercise any control at all. If a unit is within the command range of its brigade commander, it can act as desired. A divisional commander may issue orders to their brigade commanders, and army commanders in range may have an effect on the actions of divisional. If any of these parts of the chain of command are outside of the influence of the other, then things become more difficult, with units, divisions and brigades becoming less effective in terms of movement, attacking and more. The rules continue with the use of various types of formations typical of the time, covering cavalry and infantry. There are some useful, easy-to-use diagrams for the turn sequence, plus easy-to-use charts and information on how to change formation, movement distances and more. A nice touch is the fact that unless a unit is within 12 inches of an enemy, they can move in any direction and as far as they like. All types of difficult terrain are covered, with simple but sensible rules which add a level of realism without overly slowing down gameplay. After covering the issues of line of sight and clarifying the issue of whether a unit is engaged or unengaged, i.e. within 12 inches or not within 12 inches of an enemy, and rallying, the rules move on to shooting, covering all arms of the forces, the various weapons from smoothbore muskets up to heavy rifled artillery. Again, firing is a simple procedure with some simple fire factors based upon range, ability, target, cover and the other usual factors. A nice touch is the ability of various weapons to engage figures in wooden and brick buildings, bringing an often disregarded but important element to a war often fought amidst farms and settlements. Artillery firing at tabletop targets is also covered with suitable modifiers. Once all the modifiers are applied, a D10 is rolled with the result cross-referenced on a chart to find how many fatigue points have been inflicted upon a target. The more the better, as the aim is to reduce the ability of the enemy to fight. Close combat is a little more involved than shooting, as it is possible for most units to attempt to countercharge their attackers, but uses broadly the same system, meaning that once you have grasped the modifiers and morale factors for one, you more or less have the rules for the other. The combinations of what type of unit is attacking, which are covered remarkably well and appear to feel accurate. Units which are victorious in close combat have a series of options, and the realities of the fighting within a town or other built-up areas are catered for, again in a fashion that other ACW rules don't always address. The resulting morale states of the combatants are covered, which inevitably lead to rules for defining a winner of a game. A number of victory conditions are given, but most involve calculating the number of broken or fatigued units on each side and seeing who has 50% or less of their force still on the battlefield. The next few sections deal with optional rules, including issuing brigade orders in a style based upon the realities of war of the period, with lost orders, how orders are interpreted by those who receive them, and orders for a more limited fashion than those which may be used otherwise. The remainder of the rulebook contains various appendices and optional rules which may be employed, plus advice on how you can create suitable army lists for the years during which the war took place. Siege rules are here, another interesting option to be found in an ACW set, plus some useful fog of war ideas, and how to use 2d6 in a game rather than a d10. This is an extremely comprehensive and very well laid out set of rules, and one which has impressed us in its scope and efforts to simulate the type of combat found in a war between brothers. The fact that such things are contained within a lay-flat style spiral bound book makes them very accessible during a game, if not so great on the bookshelf, especially given that the use of some heavy gauge and durable pages. In addition, the inclusion of artwork and images of painted miniatures, plus the efforts to provide easily accessible examples and optional rules, makes this a remarkably easy read. Overall, this is a set of rules that really feels like it has been focused upon the type and style of warfare that was typical of the American Civil War, and one which has covered pretty much every possibility that not always found elsewhere. This video has been produced by WI Prime. WI Prime is Wargames Illustrated Magazine's online members club. As a WI Prime member, you get access to all Wargames Illustrated videos before anyone else. We'll keep you posted on what's new via the Primetime News Bulletin delivered to your inbox every Friday. If you're not a WI Prime member, you're missing out on loads of benefits, including access to the Wargames Illustrated Vault, freebies, discount vouchers, PDFs of the latest magazine, and more. Find out more about WI Prime by following the link.